Good afternoon. My name is Carol Varicki, and I'd like to welcome you to my kitchen. Tonight, we're going to talk about a fast and fresh recipe that we are going to make, and we're going to be doing it in probably about 20 minutes. So we'll try to keep this video going. I want to welcome you all to Tina's Fast and Fresh Weeknight Meals Party. This is a really quick and easy and healthy recipe that you can make in your microwave. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that first, but I also want to welcome anyone who's on Brandy's Sips and Appetizer Party. I have two Pampered Chef parties going on Facebook right now, and because of visiting people this weekend, I have not been able to do two complete recipes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this recipe live on Tina's party, and then I'm going to post it to Brandy's party, but then I'll do another live recipe and demonstrate the manual food processor, the whipped cream maker, and a couple other things, and do that live on Brandy's and post it on here later on this evening. So bear with me. Sometimes I just don't have enough hours in the day, but so who does? So let's talk about how quick and easy you could get a meal on the table that your family is going to love. First of all, we're going to be using two power tools tonight. Two of my favorite, and you've already asked me, but the very first one that we're going to use is the deep covered baker. And this is part of our stoneware line. Many people call it the magic pot. It is glazed on the outside, but on the inside it's plain stoneware. The more you use it, the more brown it becomes. So it becomes seasoned and nothing sticks to it. The deep covered baker is a great all-around product that you can use in both the oven and the microwave. And if you buy it from me, I give you this 150 recipe cookbook for free. This is just from me. So if you order online, then I have to mail it to you. But when you buy something from me, I'd like you to be able to use it and not have it sit in your closet in a box. So I like to give you recipes. This recipe is included in there. And we're going to demonstrate several products. And we're going to start right away getting this going so you don't have to listen to me talk too much. I'm going to set this right here on my countertop, and I'm going to open it up. And what we need for this, the more you use this, the more non-stick it becomes. But tonight we're going to use our kitchen spritzer and spray a little oil in it because we're going to use fresh tomatoes. This is a fresh tomato sauce. So I am going to tighten it and pump it. And that's all you have to do. And spray a little bit in the bottom of the deep covered baker. Need to pump it a little bit more. And then I'm going to use my silicone basting brush and just kind of brush it around. That just gives something for the tomatoes to sit in. Next, I'm going to reach over here and grab my tomatoes out of the sink. These are grape tomatoes. They're pretty sweet and they're really great. This is our Easy Read measuring colander. So you can actually drain cans in here. You can see the measurements at the very top. I don't know if you can see that, but you don't have to kind of bend down and look. You can just look from the top. And we have 2 cups of grape tomatoes, just totally whole. We're just going to dump them right in here. This can also be used to drain cans, but if, say, you like tuna fish, the bottom, if you have a 6-ounce can of tuna fish, you put it on here, take the cover off, put it on here, turn it over in your sink, and you can drain it all out. Works really great. All right, so we're going to start with the tomatoes, and next we are going to use fresh garlic, because what's better in a tomato sauce than fresh garlic? So I'm going to show you our garlic press. This is another one of my favorites. It's ergonomically designed. I'll zip up a little bit here so that, hello Melissa, glad to see you. This works so you can use garlic, fresh garlic in your food. Now, if you're a person who likes garlic, you know to get the full flavor of garlic and the freshest flavor, you want to use fresh garlic. This is a bulb of garlic. All these little individual parts on here are called cloves. And many people spend a lot of time mincing it up because when it's minced or crushed, that is the best, you get the best flavor for garlic. Our garlic press does all that work for you. So you just stick the unpeeled clove right in here. And I'm going to move this. I have to keep moving my computer around. And then you just simply squeeze and the garlic pops out. There's a little tool that is stored on the handle. If you have some of the older models that used to be stored over the top, you can use that to scrape the garlic off. You see that? And it also is very helpful for getting the skin off so that you don't even have to touch it. And we've got some extra garlic that got popped out, so we're gonna push that down in there. I'd love to have a volunteer from the audience to try it right now, but we actually need a total of 4 garlic cloves. So that first one was really big. This one's a little smaller. We're gonna squeeze that. So if you're thinking about mincing garlic, it takes a lot longer. You can just quickly get the garlic in here, get your skin out, put the next one in. And this one is big enough for 2, so I'm just gonna call this the last one. We're gonna squeeze. It's a little bit hard, but you get used to it. And then wipe it off the top. And again, we have was so big, some extra garlic got squeezed out. But we're gonna get the little skin off, dump it on my mat here. And we're ready for the first phase of this recipe. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put the cover on. And we're going to put this in the microwave on high for about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna walk over to my microwave. It's over here. And we're just going to stick it in. And we're going to set it for 5 minutes. And it's on its way. So in the meantime, say you have a whole day of work. You want to get this ready. The next step of this recipe that we are going to use is we're going to roll over to my stove here. And I was asked one of my favorite products, and that is our grill pan. This is our square grill pan. It has little ridges on it. It's part of our nonstick cookware line. It has a very flat bottom, which gets dirty the more you use it, but it works on any kind of stove. It works on a gas stove like I have, works on it can work on a flat top or an electric. It's got really good connection to whatever the heat is. And what's really cool about it is it has a handle that's removable. It has a little button on it, and you take the handle right off, which makes it really great for storing or for washing it, because this can be washed in the dishwasher. Most nonstick cookware cannot. You can also use metal utensils in it. When you're ready to put it back on, there's a little button you just push in and click it on. So, and you can use this in the oven as well. The handle can't go in the oven, but this can. This is the grill press, and it's helpful to have this when you're cooking. This particular one is redone, so believe it or not, it's cast iron. This is not cast iron. This is aluminum clad with a titanium coating that's very, very strong. But this is covered with the same coating, so you can wash it in the dishwasher, which is unheard of when you talk about cast iron. But I'm going to actually turn this on medium high, and we're going to warm it up for a few minutes. And now I have some chicken breasts here. So this is called grilled chicken penne pasta. And rather than we could also cook the chicken breasts in the microwave, but we're going to cook them right here in this grill pan. And it's always a good idea to preheat it for about 5 minutes before you start. So when the timer rings, we'll just have a couple more minutes to go. These are just boneless, skinless chicken breasts. They're all trimmed up. They're on one of our flexible cutting mats. And it calls for seasoning with salt and pepper. Here's our salt and pepper shaker, but I want to pump it up a little bit. So I'm going to use our Pampered Chef Italian seasoning mix, which is a mixture of a bunch of different herbs. First, I'm going to sprinkle that on each chicken breast. If We have two kinds of seasonings. We have seasoning mixes and we also have rubs. Our rubs contain salt and pepper. Our seasoning mixes only contain herbs. So I will still use the salt and pepper. Our salt and pepper shaker come in a holder. You want to turn the handle and it actually adjusts if you want a fine grade or a coarse. This is sea salt and Himalayan salt. We're going to put a little salt on it. Then I'm going to use my chef's tongs. We're going to, they have a little grommet in them. So when they're like this, when they're up and this little nubbin is down, they stay closed. You turn them over, they open up. They have a silicone top, so, and they really work well. They grab your food, and we're just going to turn all these pieces over, sprinkle a little of the seasoning on them. And the nice thing about the grill pan, we're going to put salt and pepper on this. And then we're going to put it in the grill pan for about 4 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes on a stick. We'll This handle does not get hot when you're heating a pan. The way a grill pan works is it cooks with dry heat. So these chicken breasts are not sitting right in the bottom of the pan. When you put the grill press on it, what it does, I need a little pepper on the top of these. What it does is it sears them. So all the juices stay inside the pan. Or actually inside the chicken. So instead of getting a bunch of juice in your pan, you get this. So I'm going to put this on here. And we're almost ready to get out our, so I'm going to roll you over. I have a nice little rolling cart, which works really well, unless I drop my computer. We're going to go over to the oven. And those are going to cook for another, I'm actually going to cook them for 4 more minutes. I'm going to set the timer as soon as this gets done. Okay. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes for those. All right, we're going to get the chicken breast. And we're going to get the covered baker out of the oven. These are our microwave oven grips. I'm going to grab them. It's really not hot yet after only 5 minutes in the oven. So now we're going to do one first step with this, and I'll show you here, and then we're going to roll all the way back over. Here is the bowl. Not a lot of light here, so I'll make a little more. And as you can see, the tomatoes have sort of popped a little bit. We're going to use our mix and chop. And this is another very popular product from Pampered Chef. Many people use it to break up hamburger, but there's lots of other uses for it. We are actually going to just chunk up these tomatoes real quickly. They've got garlic and tomato. This is going to be our really fresh and clean tomato sauce. So you can just you have to kind of make sure you don't squirt yourself with them. But you want to make sure all the tomatoes are broken up. I use it if I'm making spaghetti sauce, I'll break up big chunks because my kids always hated chunks. I use it for strawberries in the summer. I break them up. It's called the mix and chop, so you actually can mix with it too. So now what we're going to do to make this recipe is we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So we're going to roll over in my kitchen again. And come back to my little cooking area here. Chicken is cooking. So bear with me, this is like a 15-minute meal. All right, so now what we're gonna do is add all the rest of the ingredients that we need to make this. And this is one of my favorite recipes because in the time it normally takes you to cook pasta on the stove, this recipe is done. So what we're now going to do is we're going to just add penne pasta. This is like medium penne pasta. We have 3 cups of it. We're going to dump it all in here. That's almost a whole box. And then we also need some chicken broth. So for that, I'm going to show you our wonderful can opener. If anybody's watching, hi Tina, hi Melissa. I don't know if you guys have our can opener, but this is our can opener. It does not cut. What it does is break the seal between the top of the can and the bottom. So when you turn the handle, this little thing right here, which is a magnet, gets brought up close to the can. So we're going to put this can down. You tighten it. I like to show people how to do this so that you can actually lift up the can. And then you just turn it and go all the way around the can until you either feel a click or hear a click. Haven't felt it yet. There, I did. Once you feel that, you just turn it the opposite direction. And on the can opener, there are some little metal, I call it the little metal mouth. I like to show you how that works. When you press this button right here with your thumb, it actually makes them move. And that is what lifts the cover off the can. So we're going to actually stick this on the can, lift up, and the can top comes right off. There is no sharp edge, there is no cut edge or dirt that falls into your food. So it's a great thing to use. We need actually for this 3 cups of chicken broth as well. And nowadays these cans don't even have a full 2 cups. So we have a second cup. And of course I could get the box, but then you wouldn't be able to see the can opener. If you recycle cans, it's really awesome because you don't have to worry about cutting yourself when you're recycling them, or you want to make little projects with your kids or whatever. So I'm going to turn that. I'm going to lift up really quickly. A good time saver. And we're going to pour enough in here to make 3 cups. We have a little left over. I can use it for something else. And I'm going to pour it all in on top of the pasta. And then the other little special ingredient we have is a little bit of wine. And wine adds an interesting flavor to this. Of course, when you cook it, it totally evaporates. But we're going to just use 3/4 of a cup of white wine. This is white Chardonnay. If you don't want to use it, you could always use just 3/4 of a cup more of chicken broth. We're going to dump that in. We're going to use our mix and chop to stir it. And then we're going to also add, with our little adjustable measuring spoon, we are going to add 1/2 teaspoon each. This goes from a teaspoon all the way up to 1/8 of a teaspoon. You can set it where you want it. It comes in a set of 2. We're going to put a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we're also going to put 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Get my pepper open. We're going to just shake that in there. I always get my ingredients out of the way so that I know I use them. And we're stirring it up. And now I'm going to put the cover back on and put it in the microwave. And now we're going to microwave it for 16 to 18 minutes. And when it comes out, everything will be done. Putting the chicken in another pan. So I'm going to put this back in the microwave. And I am going to turn it on for 16 minutes. It's pretty easy. And it's starting. Back over to the chicken. This is a movable piece. I just had my kitchen redone. So much fun to be able to cook again. So I have this top. We have our chicken breasts, and they've been in here 6 minutes. I'm going to show you. Beautiful grill marks on them. It's nice that they're all kind of the same thickness, if that helps. We're going to cook these for another 6 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer. All right, so those are going to cook. Now the nice thing about this pan is I don't have to stand there and watch it and worry about it burning. And did you notice? There's hardly any juice in this pan. All the juice is inside the chicken breast. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to get ready the rest of the ingredients that we need for our pasta recipe. So I'm going to clean up a little bit here. I always like to show people who like garlic another tool that we have, and this is called, oops, just dropped my garlic on the floor. This is called the garlic peeler and slicer. So if you like garlic and you like a milder flavor, you can actually use our garlic slicer, which actually slices paper thin slices of garlic. You could use these on a roast or a steak, but the garlic has to be peeled, and what we have for that is our garlic peeler, which is basically a silicone sleeve. You stick your clove of garlic in it, and you just rub it on your countertop for a couple seconds, and out drops your garlic, totally peeled. Love this little tool. Now, you then put it in here, put the cover on, and you can use this for a lot of other things, not just garlic. I have used it for radishes for salad, I've used it for chocolate, and when you turn it, little pieces of garlic come out. I don't know if you can see that. Paper thin pieces. And you could use that in any recipe you want. When you slice garlic as opposed to crushing it, it actually is a milder flavor. So we're going to set that aside for now. Now, one of the things that I really love about paper chuck recipes is that we use a lot of fresh ingredients. So today we're going to use some fresh basil, and I think there are some people that were wondering about our herb mill and herb stripper. So this is the herb stripper. I'm going to sit down for this. This actually takes the leaves off the stems, and for those of you who may or may not grow your own herbs or buy them, when you go to the store, you pick a package that looks fresh. If there's a lot of leaves that are brown or really dirty, maybe you don't want to get those. We're going to just use these. The herb stripper, actually, you just stick the leaf in the hole that looks appropriate. It just takes it right off the stem. You can also just do that with your finger. It's kind of a fun thing. Kids can do it for you. If you're doing something like rosemary, you can take all the tines off rosemary. You actually go from the top down. With something like basil or cilantro or parsley, you're going to start from the top and go the opposite way. And we're just going to get a bunch of leaves on my little flexible cutting mat. Should have had some ready for you ahead of time. I'm just going to pick some of them off. I just want to show you. This will be something that you could do the night before, have them all ready to go. And I actually got to pick through these a little bit. Get as many as I need. Now, so we've got all these leaves on my mat. This is the herb strip, or the herb shredder. It has a cover, and it has a little ceramic ball inside of it. I thought, what the heck is that for? You put the ball first, and then there's some little cutting tines in here, and there's a base. You want to take the base off, because if you're going to cut basil with this, you want it to come out. And you basically just stuff all your leaves right in the herb stripper. So you put it in, you put it back together, and that little ball is what forces the leaves down into the cutting teeth. So you're actually going to just turn, and leaves fall out. When they start coming out, when they stop coming out, you shake the little ball, and it comes out again. Shake it again until all your leaves are cut up. And of course, if I were at a live show, I would have one of you do this, because it's really kind of fun, and nothing smells better than fresh basil. Nothing. We're going to actually use this as a garnish when our everything comes out. And you can always save a couple leaves. So sometimes they get off to the side, so we want to just kind of get those out. I'm going to put these down, put the ball on top of them. I prefer using this more for parsley, for cilantro. Rosemary is great. Any of the herbs, oregano. Oh, it smells so good. keep shaking it, and it's going to go down in. It just kind of gets, they just get sucked in there. And when you're done, you can wash the whole thing in the dishwasher. So we'll set that aside. The other thing that we need is fresh Parmesan cheese. And maybe, is there anybody out there that knows what ingredient they put in cheese that that makes it hard or makes it not so good to use? Well, in shredded cheese, they often use cellulose to keep it from sticking together, and Parmesan cheese is one of the worst. So I like to buy it in a block because it's amazing how much cheese you can get out of a block of cheese. All right, before I show you how to do the cheese, we're gonna go take the chicken. I'm rolling over here. Now, in this grill pan, I have cooked steaks, hamburgers, hot dogs, but check this out. If you have a meat thermometer, and I do, if I can remember where I put it, it's always a good idea when you're cooking chicken. You kind of learn as you go. I have one of our instant read thermometers, and if you ever buy one of these from Pampered Chef, they have a little notch on them. So if you're going to stick it in, you want to make sure you use about 2 pieces so the notch is actually covered. It should be up to at least 165 because it continues to cook. This is already up to 180, so we know this is done. So I'm going to turn the pan off, and I'm actually going to just let it, I'm going to remove it from the heat here. I'm going to just let it sit for a minute, and I will show you how to cut up the chicken in just a second. All right. All right, now let's do the cheese. I have to figure out how to work this little system here. So when you're grating cheese, this is our microplane coarse grater. Adjustable fine grater, which is awesome for Parmesan cheese. You can use it to zest a lemon or a lime. It has a little spring in the handle. You can see how that moves when I push on. So you can either put it over a bowl. You can go like this and have it on your counter. And when you're done, you can store it. It has a little cover that goes over it. And it also has a food holder. So when you're grating something like, ginger or Parmesan cheese, you don't have to worry about grating yourself. This just slides on, and it has a little cover. What I'm going to simply do is I'm going to use our 5-inch utility knife. Now, this is our forged cutlery, so this has a lifetime guarantee. This is kind of a great knife just to have around because you can chop, you can cut, you can, and I think I need to cut it a little smaller. You can even pair with it if you wanted to. And I'm going to turn it to the side. See if I can do this better. And you hold on to it with one hand and you just go up and down. And in about a couple minutes, you have a big pile of Parmesan cheese. I'm kind of doing it backwards here, but I want you to be able to see it. You can do this whether you're right-handed or left-handed. And eventually you get a little tiny piece of cheese out, but that's okay. I'm going to stick another piece in. Again, if I did a live party, I would have my guests helping with this because it's much easier to see and use yourself. So we have 2 of these. One is a coarse grater more for bigger things like potatoes, or we can use it for carrots, or all of the softer cheeses. So we have the basil, we have the cheese, and we still have 5 minutes on the baker. So I think I'm going to show you what we're going to do with our chicken. And I do have some extra leaves. All right. So flexible cutting mats. This is a large size. This is a small size, and they come in a set of 3. They're awesome if you don't want to pull out a whole cutting board. You can't cut through them. They have a silicone backing so they don't move around on your cutting board or on your countertop. And I'm just going to slide this over right now. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with our chicken. This is our batter bowl, and everyone should have one. This is the 8-cup one, which is, you know, is the large size. Has a cover that goes with it. A lot of people use it to mix up pancake batter, leave it in the refrigerator overnight, and by the next morning, your pancakes are really fluffy. We're going to use it to chop up our chicken. So I'm going to go over here real quickly and grab the chicken out of the pan. And set it on the counter, and I want to show you what the pan looks like. So this is, think about at any time that you've used a frying pan, a lot of times if you cook chicken in a frying pan, you get all kinds of juice all over, but because this sears it, you can sear steaks, hamburgers, fruit, vegetables, all the juices stay inside. This will be very easy to clean. We can wipe it out, or I can throw it in my dishwasher. That is done. Now, when you have a bunch of chicken like this, you want to, you don't want to use it like this in our recipe. So I'm going to show you our salad choppers, also known by many of us as the chicken choppers. I know I did probably had a post on these, but they have 2 blades. And they designed them with a curve so you can actually grab something in a bowl and just chop it. It's pretty awesome. I've used it for pork. I've used it for chicken. You could actually throw all your ingredients in this bowl for salsa and just do a quick salsa. The obvious thing therefore is for chopped salad. You chop a whole salad up in a bowl. Throw all your ingredients in. You don't have to go to a lot of work about tearing lettuce or anything like that. I prefer to use them like this, kind of like upside down, and they're just really easy to grab the chicken you have and just crunch it up into smaller pieces, which is going to work great with our pasta dish. You don't want to have great big giant pieces of chicken. This is a great recipe for someone who wants a lot of protein. You can do this without meat. It would just be the pasta and the tomato sauce, but it definitely, chicken adds to it, and if it's grilled chicken, even better. Now, if you don't have a grill pan and you want to use chicken that you already have, you could buy a rotisserie chicken and chop it up. You could use some leftover grilled chicken you have. The one thing I want to do is kind of grab the bigger pieces down here that are hard to get to, and this is what we're having for dinner tonight because I haven't made anything else. My son was visiting. We took him to the airport. And now we have to eat. So you can leave big chunks or you can chunk it really small. I kind of like it with bigger ones. And when you're done with this can go in the dishwasher. I like to use we have a little brush, a little cleaning brush. That works really well to get any of the little parts that get down in the blades out. So it locks, so when you have it in your drawer, you don't have to worry about anybody cutting. And because this is part of our cutware line, it does have a lifetime guarantee. So you only have to buy them once. So here's our chicken. I'm actually going to make some room here. Our pasta is almost done. Hopefully it's done. This is a new microwave for me, so I don't know. Everyone's microwave is different. This is one of our stackable cooling racks. And it's got its legs up right now. If you have 2 of them, you can actually pile them on top of each other. You can also use them low, like this, on your counter. Great for cookies. So we're going to put the deep covered baker on this. I do want to show each of you our teak spoons. These are made out of teak. They're brand new. We also have some bamboo spoons. These are what you get this month. If you order, you get one of them if you order $75 or more in product. And they're really, really beautiful. So, and they're in our tool turnabout. If you saw this in our catalog, it comes with its own spoon rest built right in. And what I really like about it is if If you have it in one spot of your kitchen and you want to move this around, this little part comes out, and you can move this here, and works well. So we're now going to hopefully get this out, and it will be done. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to put it this way because I don't want to put this right on my... Well, we're going to use my spoon here. And I'm going to stir it up a little. Okay, new microwave. There's quite a bit of liquid left, so I actually think I'm going to put it in for another 3 minutes. But then we're going to add the chicken and everything else. The noodles look a little hard yet. I don't know if you can tell. So there they are. Put it back in. This works really well. The Beef Cutter Baker is really a great product. Let's see. We're going to add. Okay. The Beef Cutter Baker is really a great product. It's very versatile. You can make a lot of meals in it. Another favorite recipe that I like to make in it is artisan bread. And to make that, you just need a bowl with a cover. I use 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon and a half of yeast, a teaspoon of salt. I mix it all together in a bowl. And it doesn't have to be the batter bowl, just some kind of bowl with a cover. And then I add a cup and a half of cold tap water. The hardest part of making this bread is when you actually stir it up with a spoon. You have to incorporate the water into the bread mix, into the flour mixture. Then what you do is you put it on your countertop for 12 to 24 hours. After 12 to 24 hours, you have this really gooey, bubbly thing that comes right up to the top. All you do is take the cover off, sprinkle some flour on your countertop or on a mat, scrape it out onto your counter, sprinkle some flour on the top of it, and shape it into a loaf. You do not have to knead it. And you shape it into a loaf by pulling the sides up over the top. And if it's in the deep covered baker, which makes your oven like a brick oven, I would actually put it in the deep covered baker, shaped kind of oblong, and then you let it rise on your counter for an hour at room temperature. And after that, you bake it at 425 for 30 minutes covered and 15 minutes uncovered. When you're done, you have a beautiful loaf of, it's called artisan bread, so it's very few ingredients. It's rough, but it doesn't have a lot of bubbles in it, and it's just delicious. And of course, the smell of hot homemade bread is awesome. A lot of times I will do this recipe in one of our rock crocks, because you can do it. This is interchangeable with our deep covered baker or the rock crock, and I'll do the bread in the deep covered baker. I'll do that at a live show. So since I just recently redid my kitchen, I used to have a really small one, I do want to tell you that if any of you ever wanted to do a cooking show, I'm in Grand Rapids, but you could have your friends come here. I have a big island. We could all get around and I could do a cooking show here for you. So just keep that in mind. And we're waiting. We've got a couple more seconds on this. I'm going to get our basil ready. So what we're going to do when the chicken comes out, when the pasta comes out, is we're going to put the chicken in, and because everything in there is hot, we'll just put the cover on, and it will feel great. It'll get warm really quickly. We're also going to add the cheese and the basil, and you are ready to go and ready to eat. Does anyone have any questions? If you're still watching, I don't know if you are, but I'm going to go over and pick this up with our, and then you'll be able to see the end of this. All right. I'm just going to get it out because it's got to be done by now. Okay, we're carrying it over. Ah, that looks way better. So now the noodles are big and fat. And can you see this? Gorgeous. We got lots of liquid in there, but that's going to heat our chicken. So we're going to dump all this chicken in. Nice hearty pasta meal. And fresh basil. And these cutting mats are great because you can just dump whatever you have in here. If you were serving this at your house, you could actually have the cheese grater out and let people put their own cheese on. But it's really pretty. You've got the green, the red. Oh, it's almost Christmassy. And we've got our nice pasta dish. It's hot and ready to go. So thank you so much for bearing with me, but understand, if you were making this yourself, you could heat it, you could have all the ingredients ready, chicken cut up ahead of time, and get it on the meal. And it's very fresh. I will post the recipe later, but I also have a recipe called restaurant style chicken penne pasta, which uses cream and some cream cheese. So that one isn't fast and fresh, and it's still, you still make it in the deep covered baker, but it's a little more creamier, but it's just a fun one to try sometimes if you don't care if you have a lot of fat. This one has very little fat, just a little bit of oil we sprayed in the bottom. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a good evening, and I will be posting another video later showing a couple other tools. So thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the party.